Yes, the Super League is back on Sky Sports for a 10th year, and there's a new name at the party. Lee have made it at last to the promised land, and it's the biggest night in their history. Live, Sky Sports 1, this Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Right now, the reigning Super League champions begin the defence of their title. Last week, Leeds Rhinos were crowned best club in the world. Now they face a Hull side desperate to get off to a winning start under a new coach. It's a fabulous match to kick off a new season. It took them 32 years, but 2004 was at last the year of the Rhino, champions for the first time since '72. And how the players and their fans savoured the moment, the end of a fantastic year at Headingley. 2005 started pretty brightly too. World Club champions at their first attempt. Kevin Sinfield's drop goal settled it. And the captain's getting pretty used to lifting the silver. Gareth Ellis has arrived from neighbours Wakefield. The Wildcats' former captain is the big buy of the winter and has settled in nicely. Two of the best young players in the business on show here. Danny Maguire at Leeds shone throughout 2004, and Hull's Richard Horne isn't far behind him. Many rate him better than Maguire. Well, here's the chance to compare. Try-scoring winger Nathan Blacklock has arrived at Hull, Australia's top try-scorer 3 years in a row. Sean McRae was part of Hull's fixtures and fittings, but he's history now. Enter John Keir, back in the big time as a head coach, and intriguingly up against the man who replaced him at Huddersfield almost 5 years ago. Tony Smith had a dream first year at Headingley, champions and now World Club champions. The Rhinos hated the old boulevard, but they've never lost yet at this new Hull ground, and this was quite a game. Oh yes, Super League is back in the big time. Well, officially this is the start of the 10th year of summer football, but someone forgot to inform the Met Office. It's pouring with rain here in Hull. It'll mean a tacky pitch and testing conditions, but I'm sure that the players will take all of this in their stride. The fans certainly will. Because this promises to be a rip-roaring season, and we have a truly fabulous match to kick off the brand new campaign. We're going to be looking ahead to this game in a few minutes in the company, of course, of Steve-O, Phil Clark, and also Darren Abram, the coach of Lee, who, of course, are on the eve of their big Super League bow at home tomorrow against the Huddersfield Giants, a match that you will be able to see live here on Sky Sports. But first of all, the big news circulating in Rugby League and Rugby Union today, that the Great Britain and Wigan captain Andy Farrell is a target for the Rugby Union, and it looks like he might be switching codes in the not too distant future. The Wigan club and the Rugby Union, they issued a joint statement today, and there are certainly negotiations well and truly underway. And Steve-O, it looks as though Andy Farrell is on his way out of Rugby League.
Well, it certainly looks that way. It looks as though Andy has made it quite clear that he would like to change codes. It will be devastating for the Wigan fans, and I suppose in many ways it will be devastating for the game of rugby league itself. But you know, you're only in this game for a certain amount of time, and you've got to make every point pay. And if you can get big money to switch to rugby union, I say go and take it. But if you're going to take it, Andy, then take it now. There's no point in waiting till the end of the season. We may as well let rugby league get on without you. You've been an absolutely wonderful servant, a great captain of our country, and yes, you have done your bit for rugby league. But if you do want to change codes, please do it now. Don't wait until the end of the season.
Well, he hasn't gone yet, and speaking from a purely personal point of view, Steve-O, I'd love to see him for another season. I'd love to see him leading Great Britain against Australia at the end of the campaign, and hopefully this time getting the win.
Yeah, it would be that way, but it doesn't look as though that's going to take place, because he's made it quite clear the Wigan Club and the Rugby Union, they're obviously in cahoots with each other. It's going to be a lot of money. They have to, because I think he's got another year on his contract to go through as Andy Farrell. But I just think myself, well, maybe, you know, the Rugby Union, England Rugby Union, not at its best. They won the World Cup, yeah. They lost to Wales last weekend, and they want Andy Farrell. If they lose to France this weekend, they may as well buy 15 from Rugby League.
OK, well, Phil Clark is a great personal friend of Andy, I know, and of course an observer of the scene of Rugby League. Phil, what do you make of all this? I'm not going to ask you if Andy is going, because it looks like he probably is, but it will be a sad loss to the game.
It will be a loss, but I don't think it's necessarily a devastating blow if he does go. And I left Wigan for a fresh challenge, and if Andrew does go, then it'll be a great experience for him and his family. And everybody in the game, I'm sure, would wish him well. But, you know, at the Wigan club, maybe Sean O'Loughlin will then take his place, as Andy Farrell replaced Elliot Hanley when he left there. And maybe another potential star playing here tonight, Gareth Ellis, now in the number 13 jersey for the Leeds Rhinos. You know, all the time, players move on, and we still get a production of talented players coming through. I do know, though, if Andy Farrell does go, it'll be obviously a loss to the Wigan club, but an asset to anybody he joins, because he is just winner through and through. In anything he does, he tries 100%, and I'm sure he'll be a success in whatever he did in life.
Now, I spoke to the Great Britain coach Brian Noble today and just happened to mention this business. He said, look, if Andy Farrell goes, we'll all be sad, but there are plenty of players coming in to replace him, and we in Rugby League will just keep on churning the wheel, and they will come off the production line. There are lots and lots of youngsters ready to take Andy Farrell's place.
There are, yes, there'll probably only ever be one Andy Farrell in the Wigan team, but there are other players. Tonight's game, for example, gives us a perfect opportunity to look at two players playing loose forward for both sides. We've got a great chance of representing Great Britain at the end of this season. As Farrell moves on, then there's a chance for Cook or Ellis tonight, and that's what keeps the interest in the game going.
Absolutely. Darren Abram, as we've seen, is also here, 24 hours ahead of his big night at the league round tomorrow to take on the Huddersfield Giants. Darren, I suppose you're smiling because if Andy Farrell goes, all the other 11 coaches will be smiling in Super League, won't they?
Yeah, from a coach's point of view, playing against Andy would be an absolute nightmare. But to see him push on to Rugby Union, it's a new challenge for him, and good luck to him. You've got to get as much money out of this game as you can. It's a very short-lived career, and I wouldn't blame Andy for one least in going. But you've got to look at Rugby League and look at Rugby Union and how many people are actually changing codes. And it's, you know, it's all in the newspapers, but it's not bad press for us. People are now looking at Rugby League. Mick McGurn, for example, the Irish conditioner, he was at St Helens. Mike Ford, Graham Steadman, you know, Alan Tate's doing his bit, you know, learning from Rugby League, and it started in the Lions with John Bentley. So it's excellent for Rugby League that the Rugby Union is still looking at us.
Absolutely. I only hope that the Rugby Union scribes don't all rush to the papers in the morning and say Rugby League is dead, because I can tell you something, this match here tonight will prove that that is a total lie. Steve-O, Hull against Leeds, it's a perfect way to kick the new season off.
Yeah, it certainly is, and of course a lot of people will be thinking Leeds, the Rhinos, the World Club champions. Now, we have seen in the past that sometimes when they play the following game, they've still got their head in the clouds, and they've come down to earth tonight. That will be sure against our Hull side. New coach John Keir, he'll be eager to make sure that they get stuck into it. We all know the qualities of this Leeds Rhino side. If you give them room to move, they will really cut you to pieces. They can't afford to do that. John Keir has done it in the past. Remember, shock win at Wembley when he was the coach at Sheffield Eagles. He knows that they have to contain very, very good sides, and I think that will be his tactics tonight. He will try to make it a real arm wrestle, whereas Smith, the Leeds coach, he'll be saying, we'll just absorb it in the first 10-15 minutes. We have the power, we have the speed out wide, and for that, I think that the Rhinos will win tonight.
Well, there are plenty of stars we can see out there, no question about that, Phil. I was talking to John Keir yesterday, very confident. He's desperate for a winning start as he takes over from Sean McRae officially for the first time.
I don't think we could get a better start to Super League 10 than a game between Hull and Leeds. These were two of the best attacking sides in the competition last year, and in fact both teams averaged more than 5 tries a game. That's just going to show the indication of the attacking capability of both of these teams. And the Leeds side are great to watch. They love to offload the ball, they promote it, there's that second phase possession, and on the back of that they have made some fantastic tries. I mean, just there's so many great players on show here tonight, particularly on the wings for, again, both sides. Blacklock making his debut for the Hull side, and Mark Calderwood, who's a personal favourite of mine. If there was a Mark Calderwood fan club, I think I'd be the #1 fan.
Darren Abram, I've seen a programme actually on Sky Sports tonight that has Lee 5,000 to 1 to win the Super League crown. We're seeing tonight the odds-on favourites in the Leeds Rhinos. You will see tonight the standards that your club has got to aspire to over the next 9 months. Can you do it?
Yeah, of course we can do it. We've had a learning curve, and it'll be a learning curve all year, but we're not going into it looking down, we're looking up. We've set our standards and we know that they're achievable and reachable, and that's what we're aiming for. We're concentrating on ourselves. I think there's a lot of clubs may underestimate us. The professional players, they've got to come to Hilton Park. We're an unknown quantity. They don't know how we're going to play, how I'm going to coach. They've got a lot of homework to do in this first month, 5 weeks to get to us. There is no form guide. I'm confident of a win tomorrow and kick on from there.
Well, the Coliseum, as you promised on Boots and All in our preview programme on Monday, will be no place for the faint heart. You've got rusty nails for the away team to hang their coats up on. No flash coat hangers, you said.
No flash cupboards, no flash coat hangers, rusty nails, a bit of wood for them, hang them up, and there is asphalted floors now. The asphalters have been in today and put the asphalt down, so that's okay. It's got rid of the bloodshed from last year.
But you're looking forward to the challenge. I mean, everyone's written you off, so you can only go up, can't you? You can only progress from what you are now, because everyone thinks you're going straight back down.
Yeah, last year the bookmakers had us winning on everything and we didn't, but this year they want us to come down and we're out to prove us wrong, but we've enjoyed it. You know, it's been good, 16 weeks cramming everything in, and the town's buzzing, 5,000 tickets sold. You know, when teams bring their 4,000, 5,000 people, you know, Hilton Park, the Coliseum will be buzzing with 7,000, 10,000 people on it. It's great.
Well, we're looking forward to it tomorrow night. It's live on Sky Sports tomorrow. Sky Sports 1 from 6 o'clock. You'll be able to see Lee making their bow in Super League against the Huddersfield Giants. That's tomorrow. This is tonight. And you know, they say that a great team needs a great leader. Well, Kevin Sinfield has done wonderful things for the Leeds Rhinos over the past 12 months. We're talking about captains, of course. And as far as Hull are concerned, well, they hope that Richard Swain this year might well do something of the same. On the two captains in Super League's opener tonight, Kevin Sinfield and Richard Swain. Right, let's now go downstairs to join Bill Arthur, who is out once again on the sideline for us this season. Bill, it's a pity, but this is the first night of summer football. Poor old boy, you look like a drown rat.
But Eddie, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's been a long winter so far. The World Club Challenge last Friday whetted the appetite, and now Super League 10 can kick off with what should be a real ferocious contest. A great atmosphere building up here despite the conditions. There was some talk of the Leeds fans not travelling tonight because the motorway is so dreadful, but pretty good turnout from Leeds, and Hull had already sold something like 15,000 beforehand. So I think we're heading for a big gate, maybe not the 20,000 they were hoping for, but it's certainly going to live up to expectations, and it is going to be a real test of nerve for young Tom Saxton for Hull at full-back tonight. Or is he at full-back? The rumour beforehand is that maybe Motu Tony, currently named in the centre, will play at full-back, with switching with Saxton. Well, whoever it is has got to fill the boots of Sean Briscoe at full-back, and in these conditions that is going to be really tricky. Of course, Hull starting the season where they left off with more injury problems. Tonight they're without Briscoe, Kearney, King, Carvel and Eager, and the bench could be a key area tonight between the two sides. When you compare them, on the bench for Hull, Jamie Thackeray, Liam Higgins, Graham Horn and Danny Hill. Now, with all respect to them, they are up against, for Leeds, Rob Burrow, Barry McDermott, Ali Lauatiti and Willie Poaching, and that could be an area where Leeds really could exploit this Hull side. But Hull, they just love to beat Leeds if they get the opportunity, and they are going to go all out for it tonight to really make a mark at the start of this Super League 10.
Let's take a look at the other fixtures on this opening weekend. There are two more matches taking place this evening. St Helens against Widnes, an 8 o'clock kickoff at Nosey Road, and Wigan against Salford. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the JJB Stadium tonight. They start at 8 o'clock as well. And then the big one tomorrow at the Coliseum. It's Leeds Centurions against the Huddersfield Giants. It's a match that we are really looking forward to here on Sky Sports. A 6 o'clock start, Sky Sports 1. Ian Millward will be our guest at Lee. And then Sunday, two games to round the opening round off. Bradford Bulls against Wakefield, 3 o'clock at the Odsal Stadium. And London, they will take on the Warrington Wolves with a 3 o'clock start at Griffin Park, the home of Brentford. Brand new season, and we will be looking for a man of the match during the course of the night. And the man of the match, of course, on Sky Sports traditionally goes home with the watch, and this year will be no exception. That's the prize that is an offer to the men of the matches that we will have for you right the way through to grand final night here on Sky Sports. And if you're wondering what the date of the grand final is, October the 15th, 2005. Wonder who will be there. Leeds, Hull, Bradford, Saints, Wigan, Lee. Well, you never know. You never, ever know. Darren Abram is here with us, with Phil Clark, Steve O'Mee. Start of a great new season. I mean, it is going to be sensational, and it will be wonderful for you because, well, it's a brand new experience.
It's a brand new experience for myself, some of the players, but mainly the fans. The fans have stuck through Lee thick and thin. Talking to Steve O before, he remembers going when they was absolutely desperate and there was a charity event going on the field, which people were getting the head shaved. I think Steve O might have been there. But
they wouldn't have got much money for that, would
you
they?
know, the town's not stopped buzzing from when we won it, and I drove past the shop today and called in, and there was queues everywhere for tickets, for replica jerseys, for fleeces, the lot. It's been absolutely tremendous for us.
It's terrific. You've been knocking on the door for so long. You're in. You've got to take on these clubs later in this. Are you going to target matches that you think you can win against clubs that you will perceive to be around you, or are you going to take a scalp like this against Hull and Leeds?
Everybody keeps saying that we've got to look at the games that people say we can win, but as a coach I don't want to go into any game expecting to lose, and that's what I want my players to do. Any team that comes off the field, win, lose or draw, will know that they've been in a game with the Leeds Centurions, and that's what I will be breeding into my players, and that's what my players are saying they're going to give me.
I bet Huddersfield would like to have picked someone else to start the new season off. As it is, they've got Lee, and it's live on Sky tomorrow. This is tonight though, Phil, and this is the cream of the crop. Hull against Leeds. Leeds never previously liked coming to this part of the world, but that was in the Boulevard days. They've never lost here.
No, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? Hull looking for their first win in the last 10 outings against this Leeds Rhinos, but that doesn't really tell the true story, that the fact that they've been very, very competitive matches. And I'd even go so far as to say, and I know it's the first game of Super League 10, this is a potential grand final. I think these two sides have the calibre of players to go through the year and play in the grand final. We'll get to see tonight just how good Hull are. They've targeted this game. Leeds have to back up after a World Club Challenge, and I can't wait. It's going to be a thriller.
Leeds, if they avoid defeat tonight, they will set a new club record of that. They will have gone 14 Super League matches in the weekly rounds without defeat. Steve-O, just how good are the champions?
Well, they're very good. They wouldn't be classed as champions, would they? I mean, they showed, especially in that first half against the Canterbury Bankstown, that they've got all the quality that they need. They've got a forward pack that does go forward, and of course gives the opportunity for the likes of Maguire and of course Kevin Sinfield. I think on very heavy conditions tonight, it's going to be important, the kicking game, and I think that Paul Cook and Kevin Sinfield, whoever gets on top in that department, if they can keep them turning them around, they will get very, very tired. Fitness obviously will play a key part here, but as I mentioned earlier, I think that John Keir will say to his charges, let's get into the faces of this Rhino team, let's really upset them. And I'm sure there'll be a few verbals all about saying you may be world champions, but you don't like coming to Hull.
Hull finished third in the table last year. Leeds, of course, finished top of the pile, went on and won the grand final. Now, before the match, they were talking that there would be over 20,000 in the KC Stadium tonight, and by the looks of things, they won't be far short of that total. If they do get a gate of over 20,000, it will be the first time in this city of Hull since April the 8th, 1983, when Hull KR were the visitors. It's a big night for Hull, it's a big night for Leeds, it's a big night for the game. Super League kicks off, and we're at Hull for Hull against the champions. And welcome back to wet and windy Hull. The KC Stadium is the venue for the opener to Super League 10. It's Hull FC against the Leeds Rhinos. Hull third in Super League last year, their best ever finish. Now they hope for their first win in 10 meetings against Leeds. Their first win against Leeds in 10 years. And this is the Hull FC dressing room. Number 6 there is Richard Horn. Such high hopes for him this year. Missed the Tri-Nations, injured, the 2002 Young Player of the Year, and the champions in their brand new away kit tonight, mostly of bright yellow, and Keith Senior, one of the key men for the Rhinos, one of 10 men to play in every year of this Super League competition. Here is the Hull side, John Keir's first team that he's named in the Super League. Saxton, the fullback, Blacklock, watch out for him, Yeaman, Tony and Rayner, the three-quarters, Horn and Lupton, the half-back combination. And the forwards, Dowes, formerly with Leeds, Swain and the new captain, McNicholas, operating at prop tonight, McMenemy and Chester in the second row, and Paul Cook was 13. And on the bench, Thackeray brought in from Castleford, Higgins, Graham Horn and Danny Hill. The coach, John Keir, is back in the big time. Talking of the big time, the Leeds Rhinos are the champions. They name an unchanged side from the team that beat the Canterbury Bulldogs last week to claim the World Championship. Mathers is the fullback, Calderwood, Walker, Senior and Bye, Sinfield operating at standoff, the skipper, and Danny Maguire at scrum half. Up front, Ryan Bailey, Duneman and Ward, still no sign of Matt Diskin. Jones Buchanan and McKenna in the second row, and the big money buy of the winter, Gareth Ellis, is the loose forward. And on the bench for the Rhinos, little Rob Burrow, big Barry McDermott, Lauer TT and Willie Poaching. And the coach, he's had a dream 12 months in charge at Headingley, Tony Smith. Well, there is Kevin Sinfield leading out the Leeds team. They have won all 3 previous visits to this stadium. They didn't particularly like travelling to the Boulevard, but they seem to enjoy the trip up here now. It was 0-0 at half-time here last year in this match, but Leeds went on to win 23 points to 12 in a second half that really signalled the Rhinos' intent for the remainder of 2004. And of course they went on to claim their first championship in 32 years in the Old Trafford Grand Final. And out they come on this wet, windy and chilly night. Hull led by their new captain Richard Swain. Their last victory against Leeds, 38-6 in the last ever meeting at the Boulevard. They had a bit of a dip in form at the end of last year, winning just 2 of their last 6. They lost their playoff game against Wakefield here. The Wildcats' first away win in Hull since 1993. But there's Nathan Blacklock, the man they hope will be crossing for the tries and doing the backflips. If he gets over for a touchdown tonight, just watch his celebrations and watch the celebrations on the terraces as well. It's a cracking crowd to kick off the brand new season of Super League here in Hull.
Wonderful atmosphere always here at this great stadium, and they're expecting so much. Sadly, the rain is pouring down. It has been raining for well over 6 hours, and perhaps it'll just take the gloss off some of the speedsters out there. There's the official Carl Kirkpatrick for tonight's big game.
Former referee of the year, of course, Carl Kirkpatrick. Just having a quick word with Paul Cook of Hull. It's Hull against Leeds. We're starting off the 10th season of summer football in absolutely atrocious conditions. But the players of both sides, they have great skills, and they will be on show despite the conditions. Here we go. 2004 swings into action. 2005 swings into action. 12 months late. And it's Leeds who are in possession with Marcus Pye.
That's going to be an important factor from both sides tonight. The hard work that has to be done from the wingers. You can't expect the forwards to cart it forward throughout the full 80 minutes. It takes its toll.
Ryan Bailey in possession. He had a really big game against the Bulldogs last week. He totally upset them at times. And the kick downfield will be fielded by Motu Tony, and he is operating at fullback. There was a little rumour that Motu Tony would play fullback and Tom Saxton would move forward into the centres, despite the fact that they were named the other way round on the team sheet. And that's exactly what John Keir has done.
Well, he obviously feels that Tom Saxton perhaps a little bit dodgy under the high ball. In the past, when we've seen him, he can be a little bit nervous. Little doubt that John Keir has opted for the strength at fullback.
Great dab into the corner, and Gareth Rayner is hunting this, but Richard Mathers is over and picks it up, and Mathers will begin the counter-attack. He had a wonderful game against the Bulldogs last week, but it's the beginning of a brand new era here at the KC Stadium. Sean McRae, of course, departed the scene. He's back home in Australia, South Sydney, and it's John Keir who is the man in charge now.
And this whole crowd, they're expecting so much, Eddie, that, you know, it's the nearly side for a couple of seasons here, but they want silverware, that is for sure. And what better way than to turn over the world champions and, of course, the winners of the grand final, Leeds, last year. But it's the forwards and tackling like that that'll certainly build a platform.
Well, it was the Hull defence that was the rock on which Sean McRae built last year, and that's a high-hanging kick. It's not a bad effort either in these conditions. Blacklock, first touch in the Super League for him. 2 minutes gone, 0-0 here at the KC Stadium. The season opener for 2005 and Super League 10.
Interesting to see how the Rhinos will sort of handle the opening 15 minutes. I got the impression that Tony Smith, their coach, would have said, let's absorb all the pressure, because Hull certainly will be putting them under that pressure in the opening 15.
Richard Swain, this now is Ewan Dowes. Cook was in there also. And Tony Smith, the coach of the Leeds Rhinos, watching from high in this magnificent stadium. And the kick downfield is good. It will turn Mathers around. In these conditions, it will hold Mathers with work to do, but does it. Great chase, though. Terrific chase, led by Peter Lupton.
That's great from the half-back, isn't it, Peter Lupton?
Oh, and Keith Senior felt the full weight of McMenemy then. Well, this is what being the champions and what being the world champions means, because everybody will respect them, but Leeds will know that this season they're in for a real battle. That's
cruel defence. The crowd are loving this.
Duneman, the dummy half, flicks the ball, and earlier in the tackle count than normal, Sinfield pops the ball downfield, and it bounces kindly for Motu Tony. And he goes away from Ellis, he gets away from Duneman, he flicks the pass in field. Here is Blacklock.
You mentioned Motu Tony playing at fullback. You know, it's almost 12 months since he last appeared in that position, and that was actually back when he was in Australia for the Brisbane Broncos. Maybe some good news for the Hull fans. He came up with 2 tries that day. I'd like him to do that again from the fullback berth.
Got a quick glance there of John Keir, the Hull coach, and he will be delighted with the start his team have made. Here is Richard Swain making good yards from dummy half. Important tackle by Danny Maguire.
And an important position also for this Hull captain, Richard Swain, of course, playing against Andrew Duneman, normally a half-back Duneman. They really are desperate, Leeds, to get a regular hooker. Of course, Diskin still injured.
Cook with a little chip over the top of the outside of the boot, and it's very well watched by Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Great running back there. Second rower, Jamie Jones-Buchanan just read it so well.
Hull not standing square, penalised.
Just a little bit too eager there. Well, the tactics that I suggested certainly have been taken into account by that man, John Keir, and of course the Hull players. He's always liked to have his sides played tough, not dirty, but just get on that borderline.
Leeds will be relieved they've just picked up that penalty. They didn't get one from the whistle of Steve Ganson in the corresponding fixture last year that was 0-0 at half-time, and then Leeds went on and won it in the second half. I think there are only 2 penalties in the entire match, and Hull got them both. Duneman.
It was a cracker, that is for sure. And they'll be hoping Hull they can go in at half-time with a similar score, 0-0.
This is Mathers, though. They're just standing off him briefly, and it was an important tackle that was produced then by Tom Saxton. This now is Gareth Ellis.
Looking towards Ellis to have a big game. We all know that it's going to take him a while to fit into the Leeds outfit.
Sinfield stabs the kick through. It bounced off the ankles, and then it's picked up. Hull smother the danger. This is Ewan Dowes. They know all about Ewan Dowes at Headingley. He's making his 50th appearance for Hull against his former club tonight.
Good refereeing there by Carl Kirkpatrick. There was no advantage. And the kick from Sinfield just ricocheted, the ball hit the player. You can see that it's cutting up. It's going to be very difficult for the 3/4. The speedsters, really rare you'll be able to get much footing out there. Look at the turf, and it's cutting up really badly already.
The rain still is teeming down, and space here for Hull to exploit with Lupton. And it goes wide to Blacklock. A little chip over the top from Blacklock. He's quick. Oh, and the ball is palmed in field. That would have been a forward pass anyway. And Leeds clear the danger.
What great thinking, though, from Blacklock. Realised there was nothing down that side.
Big
Marcus
hit.
Spies dropped the football.
And here come Hull.
Well, it's a wake-up call now for the Rhinos. Come up with an error like that so early in the tackle count. Just starts eating away, and listen to this crowd. Come on, ye Hull, and shout.
Rayner offloads to Horn. He gets it away to Peter Lupton. Lupton tackled by Marcus Bye and Danny Maguire. Now then it's with Horn again, and it's Dowes once more to drive the ball forward about 10 metres away from the Leeds line. Plenty of tackles in the bank here for Hull as it comes to Cook. And Cook jinks inside. Sinfield gets away from one tackle. Good tackle low down there by Chris McKenna. Richard Swain, dummy half, comes in to Richard Cook. Beautiful stab. Oh, and a little knock on there, was there? Yes, there was. The referee saw it. Maguire is picked up by Carl Kirkpatrick.
They're the tactics you need. And Richard Horn knew it as well. It's slippery. The ball's like soap. Just put boot to ball and anything can happen. Don't have to put it high. Just a little rubber kick on the ground was too much for that fella there to take in.
We see this here as a result really of some great defensive work though that Hull have done. Richard Swain, the game's top tackler last season, not only has he come up with so many tackles, but they are so effective. They're of great quality and not just the quantity. His ball and all tackle forced a mistake from the lead side, and it's given his Hull teammates now a great opportunity to attack from.
Hull waiting for the scrum to pack down. Referee Carl Kirkpatrick has sent Danny Ward, I think, to the blood bin, and Barry McDermott will replace him. That's an enforced change because of blood, but it's a first home game start to the new season for Hull for only the second time in 8 seasons. Can they make it pay? They will be hoping so, as Rayner collects that dipping pass from the base of the scrum. Sets off an amazing little run, Gareth Rayner, halted by Jones, and also there was Keith Senior.
Pretty solid defence from Leeds, who were not going to be sucked into the winger coming across the face of that defence. But watch for the dummy runner here. I think Hull will just be building up for it. Swain's asking, what you want?
Well, he gets the ball away to Richard Horne, and Richard Horne taking them on himself. First tackle for Barry McDermott, helped out by Chris McKenna, getting through a lot of work in defence. Quick hands from Hull, and almost through, and it was an important tackle by Sinfield and Walker. This is Paul Cook, long looping pass up above the head of Richard Horne. He finds Blacklock, it goes on to Lupton, back to McMenemy. Here is Blacklock again, Barry McDermott smothers him. Last tackle here for Hull. Great defence on show so far for Leeds. The ball is chipped over the top, looking for something out wide, and it's palmed back inside. Hull will have it if they get to it first. Duneman has touched it. Is it going to be back to 6? Yes, it is. And it's with Swain for Hull.
Nervous times for the Rhinos.
This is Motu Tony.
They've got to slow things down. That's what they're trying to do there. Ryan Bailey holding the fullback. Tony down. Should have got a penalty.
This is Richard Swain, and Swain gets it away and gets the return pass. And then it loops out wide, it bounces kindly, and that's into the arms of Tom Saxton, who looks like he's actually operating out there on the wing. He and Blacklock are switching roles. Blacklock is the dummy half, comes infield to McMenemy again. What a signing he was last year, McMenemy, for Sean McRae. When all around him were being injured, McMenemy carried on, and the ball eventually finds its way inside. It's knocked on there by Walker. Will it be a Leeds head and feed? Will it be Hull? He'll take the first knock on, he says.
I think the first knock on came from Hull.
Yeah, it was.
No doubt about that. What great work there. Gareth Rayner. Let me come up with the error. Well, Leeds will be very, very pleased that the scoreboard has yet to tick over, because it's all been black and white.
Well, it has been, and it's a little bit like the same game last season that we saw, and it was the Devil's own job to pick the man of the match that night, and it belongs again, that job on Sky Sports this year, to the gentleman of the press. And the biggest gentleman of the press is Dave Hadfield, who'll act as their spokesman throughout 2005. Dave.
Yes, always exciting this time of year to see the new players bedding in with the new clubs. You wouldn't have thought it was the ideal night for somebody like Nathan Blacklock to make his debut, but he's been very involved so far. Also interested to see how Motu Tony, Tom Saxton slotting into the new team as well. Only one newcomer for Leeds, but what a good one he is in Gareth Ellis. And I think we're all expecting a big start to the season from Kevin Sinfield after being left out of the Tri-Nations. There were signs last week that that's exactly what we're going to get from him.
We'll hear from Dave later on in the match, and he will name the man of the match as seen through the eyes of the press. Here is Sinfield, who he's just talking about. He hoists a high bomb. I don't know about rain, that will have snow on it. Oh, and it's fumbled and fumbled again. Knock on.
Well, the crowd don't like it. They felt that it went backwards.
Well, that one might have done.
Motu Tony just got a fingertip to it. I've seen him give him the other way, though. But they are the tactics. We fully expected it. Kicking game, allow the pressure. There'll be plenty of mistakes. But I also mentioned, Eddie, the fact that the fitness level, it is so heavy out there. Takes it out on the legs.
This is Gareth Ellis. Leeds have weathered the storm. They're now up the other end, attacking the Hull line. And this now is Keith Senior. First chance, really, that they've threatened the black and whites try line. Marcus Bai waits. He's appealing for the penalty and gets it.
Well, they were certainly all over him. Didn't want to play the ball very, very quickly. You can see there. Richard Horne riding piggyback. They've gone for the quick tap.
And here is Gareth Ellis. Ooh, took a bang then. Gareth Ellis gets the ball away. It wasn't knocked on. Jamie Jones Buchanan. That was Keith Senior.
Well, he should have been aware of that. And a little bit of handbags over on the other side. Tony Smith. Well, he'll be happy, but he'll be disappointed with that. He'll be happy to think that they've got themselves in this situation. It was a good pass. No doubt about the pass. Senior should have taken it.
Do you know, all of these players set themselves very high standards, and I think one thing they'll have to cope with tonight is the frustration when they do make a mistake in these conditions. No doubt there'll be more handling errors than they're normally used to. It's the side that best handles that frustration and has the patience to adapt to the conditions.
Hull in possession, deep though in their own half. Leeds anxious to keep them there. Sinfield and Gareth Ellis getting Richard Horn to the ground. Score lines. Kick-off delayed at St Helens for 15 minutes. Must be a big crowd on the way to Knowsley Road. And Wigan ahead, 6-0 against Salford after 10 minutes. Of course, it's Luke Robinson's return and David Hodgson's return to the JJB Stadium. It may be a massive crowd on the way to St Helens and Widnes tonight. That's why there's the delay. Big crowd here at the KC Stadium as well. Oh, charge down off the back of Ryan Bailey. It's all on here for Leeds. Motu Tony's after the bouncing ball and collects it. And Chev Walker completes the tackle. Here now is Gareth Rayner, and I'm told it is crowd congestion at Knowsley Road that's delayed the kickoff for 15 minutes. So massive crowds turning up to the Super League opening night. And why not, by the way?
Yeah, that's for sure. The crowd are loving this. This is a real arm wrestle, isn't it? It's the side that comes away.
Aggressive. Ryan Bailey and Barry McDermott may be too aggressive. Referee wants a word with Ryan Bailey.
Had a word with him in that. It looked as though Bailey went just over the top and then gave him a facial as well, whilst Barry McDermott took Nicholas over onto the one side. Get a little bit of a ticking off from Carl Kirkpatrick.
Mentioned the grapple tackle there, Carl Kirkpatrick. It's not allowed.
Eddie, these conditions, both sides know, both coaches realise, it's the side that have turned up in their overalls tonight. This is nothing to do with finesse. This is hard graft.
0-0 at the KC Stadium. Richard Swain, the new Hull captain, is the dummy half. Quick hands, and Richard Horn, but he can't get away from Bailey or McDermott again. John Keir back in the big time for John. A return for him. He goes head-to-head with Tony Smith, the man who replaced him at Huddersfield in August 2000. And here is Richard Swain again, clawed down by Jones Buchanan. Quick play the ball. A great little run there from Tommy Saxton. They are just a couple of metres short of the line. Swain. The pass to Horn. The kick charged down by Sinfield. And that's a good decision from Carl Kirkpatrick.
Tremendous by the official there. You could see quite clearly that Sinfield went for the ball. Now then, oh, that's a swinging arm. Surely he should have been got for that.
McMenemy over the top on Marcus Bai. Marcus Bai just gets up and plays the ball. Just checks he still has the same number of teeth in. This now is Gareth Ellis.
Did you notice then, Eddie, just that small right foot step Gareth Ellis always does just before the defensive line. Just gets him through quicker, enables him to play the ball quicker, and his team get on the roll from the back of it. Might look a little thing, but it's important at this level.
Duneman infield to Maguire, over the halfway line for Leeds, Danny Maguire. Halted by the challenge from the number 23, Paul McNicholas. Debut a year ago in round one against Saints. Go on.
I'm just trying to say, Eddie, that the defence from Hull is very good. They're not doing a sliding defence. Oh, that's a shocker.
It is. A complete miss kick, a great offload. Maguire, oh, that's a try saver.
That's offside.
And he's offside.
Yeah, they've got the penalty. They bombed the try.
But there was a try-saving tackle there on Maguire. He looked like he was on his way to the first of the Super League year.
Well, you see Blacklock came up with the error in the first place under a lot of pressure.
Duneman hits the deck, 10 metres short of the Hull line.
Sadness of it is that Blacklock never really went for that. Tried to kick it rather than, oh, that's a silly offload in these conditions.
Oh, it's come up for them.
They've got away with it.
They have, and Mathers finds Walker out there, but the pass put to ground.
Well, I mentioned you've got to come and turn up in your overalls in these conditions. Both sides are trying to swing it out as though it's completely dry. It wasn't the best pass. Walker had no chance to take that. But the Hull defence have noticed no sliding defence from it. It's man on man. They're just taking the man out. And of course they know the quality of Maguire and Sinfield, how they can run the attack across the face. They're not being sucked in, they're just standing their ground man for man.
Let's get early impressions of this Super League opening night from the Lee Centurions coach, our guest tonight, Darren Abram. Darren, what are you making of this?
It's very interesting with the kicking game. Early on, Richard Horne was putting excellent kicks in and getting good pressure from it. Now the tide's turned a bit, and Leeds have put some high kicks into Blacklock and to Motatoni, and they've come up with errors, and that's given them good field position. With a greasy surface, I think Richard Horne's varying his kicking. You've seen a reverse kick, you've seen one across the ground and a couple for the diagonal corner. So it'll be interesting how the kicks continue and how the teams handle it.
It's McMenemy now for Hull. They're just 10 metres inside the Leeds half of the field. Gareth Ellis appeals for a knock-on. The decision doesn't come from Carl Kirkpatrick. The kick from Lupton, not the best. Richard Mathers gobbles it up.
That's the first bad kick we've seen from both sides
They're
tonight.
offside here, Hull. Too quick out the blocks.
It's the second occasion that they've been caught just getting out. You can see there that all in front of the official, Carl Kirkpatrick.
Injury news coming in. Bill.
We saw Danny Ward coming off for Leeds a short time ago, Eddie. He's gone straight to the dressing room to have a really nasty gash on his chin stitched. It's going to take a bit of needlework in there, apparently. So Danny Ward, the first casualty of Super League 10 then.
Indeed so. This is Sinfield. We're still waiting for the first try on Sky Sports of Super League 10. This match 19 minutes old or thereabouts. And a change by Hull. Liam Higgins comes on for McNicholas. This is Maguire now. That's a good bit of defensive work there from Chris Chester.
Well, that's a point I was trying to make, Eddie, that they know his quality. He runs across, and this man-on-man marking is certainly paying off for this Hull side so far.
Good hit by Kirk Yeaman on Chev Walker then. Maguire hands it on once more to Ellis.
This is where the short kick, keep it low, and it skid on the ground. The mistake will come.
Duneman, Maguire, there's the kick through. Bounces all over the shop. It's picked up by Leeds. It's play on, says the referee. And the wide ball to By. Look the touch forward. But I don't think the referee's going to give it. I think he's going to give the try. In consultation with the touch judge, he does.
Well, they're very fortunate because not only one forward pass, I thought there was two. The short little pass earlier looked slightly forward, and the final pass certainly was. And this is the kick. We knew they'd come up with the error. Now, was he in front there when McKenna offloaded? And what about this one? I think Marcus By's about half a metre in front. This is the kick. Watch it ricochet come through, but watch McKenna. Oh, I reckon that could have been forward. And this, to me,
I think that's all right.
well, momentum rule come into play. Isn't it amazing when you've got that wonderful camera work into that corner? But I'm not so sure about the one from McKenna. The little offload, it looked slightly forward.
Well, the former Hull man who got a couple of tries way back in 1996, the Papua New Guinea international, who was a national hero back home where rugby league is the national sport in Papua New Guinea, and he has got 2005 off to a great start for Leeds in terms of the defence of their Super League crown. Leeds ahead here 4-0. This kick to come from Kevin Sinfield, last year's leading goal kicker in the competition and leading point scorer as well. 5 goals and a drop goal in the World Club Challenge last week. Sinfield for the posts. What a kick in these conditions from Kevin Sinfield. Omitted from the Tri-Nation series by Brian Noble, the Britain coach, and just giving everybody a little nudge that he is back bigger, fitter and better than ever this year.
Well, that looks forward to me. McKenna to Maguire. We'll see it again, but Maguire looks to me to be well and truly in front. Yep, that should have been a scrum down. Hull should have got the head and feet. This is all right because Richie Mathers brings into play the momentum rule, but I have my doubts. Controversial one, the offload there. Phil, you've just seen it. Was it forward or not?
On that angle, it probably did look that way. I bet Hull, thought that they'd probably done enough of a job. Leeds were the best team in the league at scoring tries from low kicks last year, and I suppose when they trapped that kick through, maybe just momentarily they switched off because they probably should still have had enough numbers, Steve-O, despite the slight forward pass, which is obviously contentious, to get across and maybe stop the Leeds threat. But good work for Leeds, they've taken advantage of it.
They have, and if they hang on to this advantage, and there's a long way to go yet, Leeds will set a new club record of 14 Super League rounds unbeaten. They did lose in the playoffs last year at Headingley against Bradford before reversing the result in the grand final.
Big
Barry
mistake.
McDermott's come up with a knock-on here.
Yeah, just lost control, tried to bluff the official. Wasn't going to get away with it. And you can see there, Carl Kirkpatrick just gave McDermott a little bit of dig into the chest and say, "You're knocked on." Simple as that.
So chance for Hull, and the referee wants a word with Barry McDermott. He told him to just calm it down. I think McDermott was objecting to the fact that someone had a hand on his chin.
Before you put down in the scrum, I had a word with you. You were threatening him. You were using abusive behaviour. You almost told me you were going to do that. You've deliberately kicked
Just
him in the
getting a
scrum.
little bit.
You've
excited.
deliberately kicked somebody, he says. And the Barry McDermott says to the referee, "Aren't you allowed to strike for the ball?"
Goal.
So Barry McDermott has conceded a penalty, and Hull are going to kick for goal.
Probably the right option as well.
There was something going on, Steve, around that before the referee blew the whistle.
Well, I mean, he attracts trouble.
Tony Smith passes the message down. What did he be saying?
I think one of the Hull players probably made a sarcastic remark to Barry McDermott, which when you started off in your rugby league career might not be a very good way to begin playing against Barry Mac. Anyway, it's worked in their favour.
Yes, it has.
They have a penalty.
They have a penalty, and Paul Cook here with the opportunity to score the first points for Hull this year. Taking over the number 13 jersey from Jason Smith for John Keir. Almost 500 points for Hull now. The England A international, Paul Cook. Difficult night for the kickers, but Sinfield has knocked over a cracker. And Cook has missed.
Could be a vital miss as well.
Said it was a difficult night for these fellas. The non-kicking foot must slip on the surface like this, but Sinfield, well, maybe he's got long studs in his boots.
What a turnaround in fortunes, you know, this fella, Kevin Sinfield. Remember, he got dropped for a Challenge Cup final. He was omitted from the Tri-Nations last year, and he always has this ability as the youngster to really come to the fore.
Number 15, Danny Ward, is back for Barry McDermott, who just conceded that penalty. Immediately withdrawn by coach Tony Smith because Ward was now patched up and fit again.
Well, Hull be a little bit peeved at the fact that their build-up work has been very good, especially some good runs from Richard Swain from the dummy half position.
That's a good kick, looking for Blacklock. Maybe the angle wasn't as it might have been, but Mathers deals with it competently.
Did well there, did Mathers. Utilised the official, Carl Kirkpatrick. Went round the back of him.
That's not the first time they've kicked from the second receiver, is it? They've tended to move the ball, which enables you to draw up the defensive line. They put good quality kicks in behind. These have really been on the guard to counter-attack any of those.
I wonder if John Keir's angst is aimed at his players or aimed at the match official, Mr. Kirkpatrick. He doesn't look terribly impressed when we just got a glimpse of him there. This is Ryan Bailey now.
Well, if the official is running across, a player can utilise him. They often do it, especially when they score from the scrum base. We've seen it so many times. There's nothing in the rule book that says that you can't run round the back of a referee.
Towering kick that from Duneman, and this is Motu Tony to run it back for Hull.
Good kick and chase.
Well, there it is. The referee stood his ground, and Richard Mathers took full advantage of that. This, meanwhile, is Ewan Dowes. He's scrapped to the floor by Gareth Ellis. And Blacklock. Little second shove. The referee is totally unimpressed.
Well, the Australian there tried to con the official. None forthcoming for the penalty, that is for sure. I must say, you know, this Nathan Blacklock, he has got the thinnest pair of legs in rugby league.
Have they caught your eye, Steve?
It didn't matter of that. It's like a 9-iron. Or 2 9-irons, should I say.
This is Mathers. He's not the biggest, Nathan Blacklock, but he's one of the best. That's great defence from Paul Cook. Wrestled Marcus Bai to the ground. Andrew Duneman. And here now is Danny Ward. Stitches in a face wound.
The one thing that Tony Smith will be very pleased about, the way that the Rhinos are absorbing this pressure, is the fact that the 3 quarters, the 2 centres and the 2 wingers in the full back are carting the ball away from their own quarter. They don't have to have the forwards there. They're just giving them a rest. They know that they've got to go through a lot of work as this game progresses.
No way through from Maguire, but they get penalised for a second stab at him, I think. Tom Saxton is the man being pulled out by the official.
Well, you can see there they tried to give him a facial and probably did. Couldn't have charged him much. The quick one, still in play from Saxton. All it does is just maybe take away the pleasant looks from Kevin Sinfield. But it can be costly. You know, we knew that there were going to be verbals. We've already spoke about that, Clarkie, in regards to it. You know, verbals really have come into sport, especially in rugby league, haven't they?
They have, and I suppose the discipline required here now. They've got the discipline to try and hold out Keith Senior on the charge.
Important tackle out there. He plays the ball to Sinfield. It comes back in field to Ali Lau-Titi, who's just on. Just lost his footing, the big New Zealander, and that's another penalty by McMenemy. He's all over him, and the referee now will surely warn the captain.
Well, you would think so. This is the fourth occasion they've been penalised for messing around at the play the ball area.
And he's calling the captain to him, as we thought. And Hull will be told next offence, sin bin.
They just can't afford to be doing that. Look at that, the facial. Again, they've already had Saxton give away the penalty.
They're scraping the faces. All right, they've got the hands all over the faces. But the penalty over there, we've just got another one here with Shane. Can you wait till I get there? OK. Andrew, wait for me.
Referee taking total control of the situation, blows the whistle for a second time. Now Leeds can get on with it, which they do. This is Ward.
That was a good option, you know, take the tap. Don't mess around just getting the 2 points. They want to try to put this team to bed.
Maguire, quick hands, good hit. Chev Walker does well, but Rayner was there to stop him. Gareth Ellis gets the ball away. McKenna.
Well, this has amazed me, you know, both sides so eager to get the ball, the wonderful passing in conditions like this.
Great ball, Duneman, and Walker with the try. That was a super pass from Andrew Duneman, and Chev Walker, he's unstoppable from 4 metres, and Leeds hit double figures. The champions, the defence of the title's underway, and Chev Walker with the try.
Well, it was Duneman that took the quick tap. Wonderful offload. Watch how Duneman sucks in the would-be tacklers. Come and see me. And he offloads at the perfect time. Paul Cook will go straight to him into the breadbasket. And Mr. Walker, it's an easy one. But quick thinking. Good opportunity for this fella, Duneman. Realise that they have not got a recognised hooker with Diskin injured. And he's certainly taken it very well indeed. And Walker, as you say, Eddie, nothing was going to stop him.
Absolutely nothing from that range. The Hull supporters, they saw the replay of that Chev Walker try on the big screen, and the angle of the camera, it appeared a forward pass, Phil, but it never ever was.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was the line that Chev Walker ran that actually created the chance, and it probably made it so easy for him to score. Simply running against the sliding defence, away in between the two defenders into a hole.
In off the post is good enough for Kevin Sinfield, and Leeds have a 12-0 advantage here at the KC Stadium. Opening night of Super League 10, 2 tries. They weathered the storm early from Hull. They hit them with everything but the kitchen sink, and Leeds stood firm in defence. And now they scored 2 tries of their own, both of them converted by Kevin Sinfield.
And the sadness in many ways is that John Keir and the whole side will realise they've had far more opportunities to post points on the board, and it's a sign of a great side, is Leeds being able to just slow things down, have their solid defence, and when they get to a point, a lot of teams would have gone for that 2 points. It was quite easy to get the 2. They were pretty close to the post, but they wanted to try, and they came up with it.
And Willie Poaching on for Chris McKenna. That's not a bad change, because Willie Poaching was a fantastic substitute for Leeds in their championship year of last year. It is worth saying, actually, that Hull, despite the fact that they have a pretty strong-looking team out there tonight, they do have very many early season injury problems. Michael Eager, Paul King, Gareth Carvell, Richard Whiting, Sean Briscoe, of course, Andy Bailey, all out at the moment at the start of the season, injured. But that's a great take from Motu Tony. Filling in for Sean Briscoe at fullback. He took that Briscoe-esque.
Tremendous under a lot of pressure as well. The ball was very, very slippery.
Just shy of 8 minutes before half-time. Here come Hull looking for something up to the interval. This is McMenemy. I beg your pardon, it's Kirk Yeeman. This is Richard Swain. Over halfway and dumped to the ground by Gareth Ellis.
I must say Ellis has really slotted in ever so well, especially in this game. His work rate in defence has been superb.
Decent kick in between Marcus Pye and Richie Mathers. And Papua New Guinea international, he takes control of the situation. Dropped the ball, remember, in this situation earlier on in the half. Didn't like the attention he was receiving then. And it was Jamie Thackeray who was providing it.
Well,
Here is Pye again. Thackeray in also once more.
Looks like Rob Burrow is coming into the fray. Good move by the coach, Tony Smith. He knows that Hull are getting extremely tired. They've had to go through some hard work.
And little Rob Burrow is on the field. This is Duneman. And he's come on for one of the biggest men in the game, Ryan Bailey. That wasn't the best kick by Kevin Sinfield. Ricocheted into the arms of the Hull man. Here is Richard Horn.
Well, Sinfield rushed that. He really should have stepped back 2 or 3 metres to make sure that gave him space.
Saxton plays the ball. Richard Swain misses out one man. He finds Paul Cook. Cook, good ball in field, but there was no way through then for Motu Tony. Looking for the penalty and gets it.
Well, I'd be surprised if Hull go for the 2 points. They really need to get on the scoreboard with a try.
I think the signals come out, Steve, or they go for 2.
Well, that has surprised me at 12-0. Maybe he's just eager to get points on the board, maybe just lift their spirits.
Maybe a sign of the patience, Steve-O, that there's a long way to go in the game. They don't need to score in the next 5 minutes. They just need to do the little things right. Maybe the 2 points, a period of possession again for them might just help them, because the kick chase has been good. If they can control the next period of possession, and I suppose I'm assuming that this kick's going to go over.
And also to add upon that, it's that it is also a case of maybe we need a rest, because it's been a rough, tough game this.
Tony Smith will be well pleased, though, that the 2 major opportunities that Hull have had have come from the boot of Paul Cook, courtesy of a couple of penalties. Cook missed the earlier one, other side of the field. Doesn't miss this one, though. And Hull, importantly, I think, for them, from their confidence point of view, and as Phil and Steve-O say, they're on the board. 12-2, though, and Tony Smith's on his way down. And it's a long walk, believe me, from way up high here down to the dressing room area.
Yeah, I take it very slowly, don't I, Eddie?
John Keir is a little concerned, I think. He was very confident, Steve-O, that his team would give Leeds a real run for their money tonight.
Yeah, and I think he was disappointed that Stephen Kearney couldn't start. You know, in these conditions, a good solid forward with an offload. And also they're missing King, aren't they? You know,
I've just noticed. I read the list out then, and I forgot Stephen Kearney. He isn't there either. So there are plenty of Hull players still to come, and it's a long, long road. The Super League 10.
It certainly is.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, you're right there. And I always feel that if there's one way that you can really split this Leeds defence down, it's very close to the play the ball area, you know, and the likes of King, the likes of Kearney that can run the angle and bring someone back on the inside.
St Helens, after 20 minutes, have gone into a 12-4 lead against Widnes, and Wigan still 6-0 up against Salford after half an hour. Opening night of Super League 10, 12-2 here to the Leeds Rhinos. In possession here with Pye, and stopped in his tracks. The ball was stolen there.
That'll be a penalty.
The ball was stolen. Penalty to Leeds. Let's get impressions up to half-time. John Keir doesn't agree with the decision. Darren Abram, how would you feel if you were John Keir?
I think it's just a matter of frustration. I'd feel a bit frustrated myself, and the players are feeling that. The early pressure and they never scored, and then the discipline started to let them down, and Leeds took 2 excellent tries. They've got back in the game now with a goal, and I suppose Jonathan Callard will be impressed, because I know he's been down doing some goal kicking in pre-season, and when Cook missed that first one, I don't think he would have thought what's he been doing with them. But I think they'll get back into the game. They'll get into half-time now, looking for another score or keeping Leeds at bay, and then regroup at half-time. John Keir will settle them down, and they'll come out fighting again. It leads into a splendid second half.
Absolutely, and I think John Keir, when he looks again at the replay of that steal, will agree it was a two-man tackle, not allowed. Well picked up at the back by Motu Tony. The great chase by Walker, and also there Calderwood. Just waits, Tony plays the ball. Gareth Rayner, no way through for him. Leeds are way ahead on the penalty count.
Well, I must say, Motu Tony there could have been penalised. He just stood there, looked at the official and said, well, no one's there at dummy half.
I think he was also looking for a penalty, wasn't he?
Yeah, but should I have to play the ball or not? Maybe I'm pedantic.
And Richard Horne tries to clear the lines, and he's looking for a 40-20. It bounces unkindly for Mathers. It's a great chase. Oh! Surely the whole man was taken out there by Keith Senior.
Well, it certainly looked that way. Take nothing away from the positional play of Richie Mathers. You know, last season I thoroughly enjoyed watching this Leeds fullback. Oh, maybe not. Just a little bit of a... But John doesn't agree.
He's had a frustrating first 40 minutes as head coach of Hull.
Well, he knows,
38 and a half.
He knows that they've had some wonderful field position and they haven't come up with a try that they fully deserved. For the first 20 minutes, there was only one side in it. And that certainly was the black and white.
If they can hold... Oh, interception! And he was sniffing down Richard Horne! Oh, he just lost it in the mud.
Well, I'm not so sure he would have outstretched Mark Calderwood anyway. Good play by Calderwood to put himself in that position, but wasn't it wonderful rugby league?
Now they've shifted up to Danny Maguire. Thackeray offloaded. Richard Swain wasn't watching. And Leeds breathe a sigh of relief. Here is Burrow. That's a great ball. Lauatiti was almost through. Lupton with an important tackle. Quick play the ball to Poaching. Here is Burrow again. A chip down the line. He's looking for Marcus Bai. And all he does is find the touchline.
Well, what play from either side. First Richard Horne. He read it perfectly. Plucked it out. But it was good work by Calderwood to get back. Richard Horne, and then within seconds Danny Maguire comes with an intercept, and look at the rain just pelting down. It's amazing the amount of good football that we've had so far.
Yes, it's been a credit to both sides, and Leeds will look to take this 10-point advantage into the sheds with them, and John Keir, as always, wearing his heart on his sleeve. And, well, I think he would be pleased also that the gap is only 8 points, 10 points. It's not unassailable. There's the half-time siren. The boos ringing round the ground are not for the players, but I think for the frustration of the Hull supporters, because Mr. Kirkpatrick and his officials, they've given Leeds 7 penalties, and they've given Hull only 3. But Carl Kirkpatrick cannot be blamed for the scoreline that Hull face at half-time, because Leeds have scored a couple of great tries, 2 in 10 minutes in fact. Marcus Bai and Chev Walker, both of them improved by Kevin Sinfield. It's a Paul Cook penalty for Hull, and at the break the champions are ahead by 10 points. The Super League is underway and back in business for 2005, and so are the champions, the Leeds Rhinos. They lead at Hull on this opening night by 12 points to 2. Well, it's been a frustrating first 40 minutes for John Keir as he comes back to the big time. His players started really, really well. They had Leeds on the back foot, and Leeds weathered the storm early on, and then they broke away and scored 2 tries of their own. Champions, World Club champions, it's a tag that they will carry with them all the way through this season. It will be difficult for Leeds, but they have shown some class here in holding on to Hull early as they threw everything at them bar the kitchen sink, and then scoring those 2 fine tries. So the champions are ahead by 12 points to 2. It's been an interesting first half, weather appalling, but as Steve-O said during the course of the commentary, you have to take your hats off to the players of both sides. They have played some great stuff. We've seen some good skill, despite the fact that the ball is very, very greasy and the pitch is tacky. Steve-O, Phil Clark and I joined here tonight at Hull by Darren Abram, the coach of the Leeds Centurions, who this time tomorrow will be, well, they hope celebrating a first victory at the Coliseum in Super League 10. Darren, a terrific first half. As we said in the commentary, great skills on show from these two sides. Awful conditions. Awful conditions, tremendous skill, and none more so than Chev Walker's try. Out of the training paddock, just players practicing the core skills on their own. Duneman flashed out a dummy half, then slowed his tempo down, and Chev Walker hit a lovely line between the defenders and put the ball over the whitewash. That only comes on the training paddock where players spend time doing it, acceleration, slowing down with a ball in hand and hitting your teammate coming at the same time and reacting to him. Superb skill. John Keir, a frustrating first half. He will have wanted his men to come out and really take the game to Leeds. They did early. Leeds held on. I think John's as frustrated with the referee and the officials as he is with his own players. Yeah, it's interesting because I sat in a first Super League coaching meeting with the referees, and touch judges have actually been going down to clubs working on forward passes, decisions being given where they're not forward or they are forward, and it's the eye of the touch judge running alongside of the players at the pace the players are going and passing, and that one for me looked a forward pass, but the touch judge held back and went to the corner and gave the try to the referee. You can't blame Carl there. He went to the touch judge for his decision. The touch judge gave the try, so it's a try. So that's been working on. It'll be, Stuart's poorly at the minute, and we wish him well, to get back on his feet. But it's something that Rugby League will probably look at on Monday. I'm sure John Keel will be making that phone call. Absolutely, I'm sure he will. We'll look at the tries again with Steve-O in a few minutes' time. But in the meantime, Phil Clark, impressive start to Super League 10, given the conditions.
It is very impressive. I think that because of the conditions, both coaches will be stressing the fundamentals. They'll want the side to control the ball and cut down their error rate as best as possible. They'll also want them to play as much of the game as close to their opponent's try line as possible, whether that's in attack or defence, because simply, if a mistake comes, you're unlikely to see long-range tries in these conditions. And the third thing they'll want, and I'm sure John Keir will stress it again, is that enthusiasm that they had in defence in the opening 10 minutes. There was tremendous technique in the whole defensive effort. It was controlling the Leeds side. As the game rolled on, you started to see Leeds making ground more, players breaking through tackles, and the quicker play the balls, on which Duneman capitalised.
As Darren Abrams said, Stuart Cummings, the controller of the referees at home, recuperating from illness at the moment. Steve-O, will the performance of Carl Kirkpatrick done his condition any good?
Yeah, sure he will. I mean, I think if John Keir will have a look at those incidents, and I think he'll have to agree that they perhaps got it right. Maybe the first try, I'm not so sure. I thought the pass from McKenna to Maguire just slightly forward, and if you can just see here, this is a kick through, it goes all over the joint, and watch McKenna. Now, to me, Maguire's in front. They get away with it. The final pass, watch for Mather. When he offloads, look how he goes forward. This is the momentum rule to absolute perfection. If it had stopped, maybe it could have been utilised as a forward pass. They were lucky. McKenna's pass definitely was forward. And this is where Duneman went for the quick tap. Is that a good game, Duneman? Not easy to slot into the hook and roll, but he's no stranger at it. And the pass from Duneman, yet again, was completely out of the top draw. This is superb. Come and get me. Offload. Walker. He's a big lad. No one's going to stop him there. And maybe Hull, after all that hard work, wonderful anticipation there from Richard Horne, but it just slips here. But I think you could see there on the right-hand side that Calderwood certainly had him in his sights. But Hull will be frustrated. It's as I expected that they would just throw everything at Leeds in the opening 15 minutes. And full credit to this Leeds defence. They held out slowly but surely. You're not world champions for nothing. You take your chances. And that's what the Rhinos have done in the first half.
Yeah, just mentioning Stuart Cummings before I went to Steve. All the very best to you, Stuart. Know you're watching at home, and get well soon from all of us here on Sky Sports and the game of rugby league in general. Darren Abram is with us from the Leeds Centurions. 10 points, nothing in the modern game. Hull can come back and win this second half, can't they?
Yeah, of course they can if they apply the pressure like we've spoke about in the early defence and the kicking game that Richard Horne had. He was mixing it up, putting them along the floor, over in the corner. He'll see how Leeds will handle it. But Leeds fullback Richie Mathers has returned them kicks superb. Great on his feet, great strength, and he's beat the first line of defence, which I don't think that John Keir will be too happy about with the chase. You know, it's no good putting the kicks in without putting that chase on and grounding them back. But Hull will come back into it, I think, and it's, you know, as I said before, it leads into a tremendous second half.
Maybe half-time, just exactly what John Keir wanted. He's got at his players, pointing out a few things maybe, and who knows what's in store for us in the second 40 here at the KC Stadium. Hull trailing by 2 points to 12. The champions in control. Can they stay that way in the second half? KC Stadium is the scene of the season opener here on Sky Sports. The champions in town and the champions ahead at half-time. Leeds 12, Hull 2. 7-3 the penalty count. That is what will be concerning John Keir. Not so much the tackles missed or the handling errors, which I think are probably to be expected on a night like this. And did you notice they made 6 breaks? But they... Well, here are the tackles, the breaks. Only 1 break by Hull, that's from Paul Cook. And the 6 breaks from Leeds. It's a worrying statistic for the new Hull coach.
It's not going to be easy for him as well, the lack of finishing power, and it certainly was on show in that first 40 minutes. I'm sure that the new coach is fully aware of all that.
Not haven't seen too much of this fella, but he hasn't had that many opportunities.
No, and I think perhaps that it may be playing on his mind that when he went for that high kick, not the best attempt, and it's just things like that that can really just put you off.
Kevin Sinfield about to get the second half underway, and a high hanging kick into the floodlights here. Underneath it was Blacklock, tips the ball infield. And the number 15 for Hull, Thackeray it was, yes, he was the man who took the first tackle of the second half. It's Lautiti and Poaching with the hounding down of McMenemy, and now Higgins will drive the ball forward. This is Richard Swain. This is McMenemy for Hull.
Well, the man you just mentioned there, the hooker Richard Swain, of course the skipper of Hull. He really has to try to take command. We saw some lovely running from dummy half, and here he is again. A little bit more of that because it tests the first and second markers so much. Got to try to tire them out.
Richard Horne's kick, and Mathers is very well positioned again to scoop this up off the wet turf.
He's unbelievable, you know, Richie Mathers. He's got a wonderful radar, and you know, if he ever get lost, I think I'll ring him up, because he just knows where everything is. He's there at the right time.
Do you think that's one of the advantages that Tony Smith has? There's competition for places to the extent that people even saying Richie Mathers is under pressure for the full-back berth. It keeps players playing at the best.
Absolutely, they've got a great squad at Leeds. It just might be enough to see them retain the title, but hey, there's a long, long way to go yet. The bookies have made Leeds virtually odds-on to reclaim the crown at Old Trafford in October.
Well, they've got to be the shortest odds. I think it's 6-5, isn't it?
Something like that.
Wow.
Maguire with the kick. Oh, did that bounce off Motu Tony's hand? No. And, well, Hull missing a host of stars tonight, a galaxy of them. Kearney, Carvel, King, and perhaps their brightest star of 2004, Sean Briscoe. He's alongside Bill on the side.
Sean, I suppose the message for Hull at half-time would have been that at 12-2, they're certainly not out of this.
No, I don't think we are. We've just got to keep completing our sets and keep chipping away at Leeds' defence. They're defending pretty well at the moment, so hopefully we've just got to take our chances if we get them. And
the kicking game, as we saw in the first half, is going to be pretty crucial, isn't it? And how you deal with it.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, the weather conditions don't help either side, so what the players do from the kicks is going to set a good platform for the set of 6 go ahead.
As a fullback, you must be looking at this and thinking, I'm glad I'm not out there.
A little bit, but I still wish I could play in this.
Thanks, Sean.
Yes, it's the first match that Sean Briscoe has missed since he arrived at Hull from Wigan. Oh, that was easily claimed there by Marcus Pye. And the Papua New Guinea international is away. He's clawed down by Thackeray.
Good refereeing as well by Curl Patrick. You told the players who were in front of the kicker to keep away.
This is Lauatiti. And Duneman waits at dummy half. Just inside his own half. Gets over the halfway line now. Finds Danny Ward.
Made a good fist of it, hasn't he, Andrew Duneman? There's the responsibility. Been mixing and matching. Little runs from dummy half and also feeding it out wide. I think you'll find Leeds now are quite happy to just get field position, make sure that the kick is spot on. The chase has been superb.
Ooh, that looked forward from Burrow from up here.
Certainly was delayed.
And he gets away with it. It's on the last tackle. Carl Kirkpatrick signals that. Duneman flicks it to Maguire. Maguire's kick actually goes backwards. Senior claims it. He'll have to keep it alive, which he doesn't. Finds Mathers. Mathers shapes to kick, hacks it down the line, and it's Calderwood who's after this.
Tremendous play there by Leeds.
And a Shamoslin back play between Tommy Saxton and Marcus Bai. I think one thing we ought to remember about this match, Hull have had 4 pre-season friendlies. Hull, Kingston Rovers, Featherstone, York and St Helens only last week. Leeds have had 5, and of course they have had that World Club Championship match, World Club Challenge last Friday against the Bulldogs. They will come into this match, the Rhinos, much more battle-hardened than Hull.
Well, you'd think so against the Canterbury Bankstown. That 80 minutes certainly would have lifted themselves. But, you know, it's very difficult with these trial games. Quite often in the trials they use up to 25 players. So I wouldn't take too much notice of that sort of thing. That is a great kick.
Richard Horne really gave that a thump, but it wasn't a 40-20. It will be head and feet here to Leeds. Phil, just thinking about that, the pre-season programme, you know, the clubs on both sides of the world, to be fair, complaining about the wear and tear on their top players, and yet they organise themselves with 4, 5 pre-season friendlies, and they complain about the internationals when they come along and the length of the season. Do you have a view?
Very difficult, isn't it? You've got to start to win early doors. You can't think, well, we'll take 4 or 5 league games before we get into our stride, and yet equally John Keir of anybody, I mean, the whole club decimated at the end of last season by injury, knows that it's really how you perform in September and October that will determine whether or not you're remembered with a trophy at the end of the year. And you know, the signs aren't great. Obviously they finished last year with a lot of injuries. It's maybe they're doing it the other way around this year. They've started this year with so many injuries, and the injuries are evident to me in the opening 5 minutes of this second half. They've struggled really to get the ball away from their own try line. The last kick Horne made was from about his 30-metre line, and I'm not sure they've got the guys out there in the middle who can make the meters they need to make.
And just to put a final point on the pre-season debate, a lot of the clubs of course use their youngsters in those pre-season friendlies as well, and they do certainly mix and match.
Well, as I say, Eddie, you just can't look at that as form.
No, definitely not.
Doesn't really count.
This is Motu Tony. Poaching gets to him, lifts the legs, dumps him to the ground with help from Duneman. Injury news, Bill.
On the Hull bench at the moment, big Paul McNicholas is having running repairs. Came off in the first half with a calf injury, and he's still getting treatment for it at the moment. And he really does tend to be in the wars, Paul McNicholas, but he's an unsung hero for this Hull side, and they're really keen to get him back out there.
Richard Swain with a big deep kick over the top of Richie Mathers. And Mathers just lolloping after it, gets to it. Oh, and there's a possibility there of obstruction.
Certainly looked that way. Obviously the official thought that it was too far away from his own player to be classified as such.
Well, he did well, Gareth Ellis, didn't he? He helped his fullback as much as he could with a big effort. You don't often see that. That's a good sign of his enthusiasm. It's very unselfish play.
Oh, he's got a great heart as Gareth Ellis. He got through a lot of work, especially in defence in this first half, but I've been impressed with the way that Leeds have taken this game from the restart, is that they are not panicking. They're just taking it nice and steady.
To be fair, no reason for Leeds to panic. They're the team that has the 10-point advantage at the moment. It's Hull who have to start forcing the pace shortly. Here is Rob Burrow with the kick. And here is Blacklock now with space maybe to utilise. Good tackle low down by little Burrow. Helped out by Maguire. two of the brightest young things in the British game. This is Motu Tony, and a lot of people might be surprised to know that the New Zealand international Tony is only 23 years of age himself. He's got bags of football left in him.
He's had a good game as well. He's worked very, very hard indeed. I'm sure that John Keir, the new coach, will be pleased with that.
Rates him highly. Thackeray with an off-the-shoulder number there.
Hull need to do and come up with something a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more running from their captain Richard Swain from dummy half. Maybe just a chip over the top, because they're finding it very difficult to get through this solid Leeds defence. You've got to start breaking, mixing and matching from time to time.
Dab down the line again. Mathers inevitably is after it. Marcus Bai came infield to give him the option. Tackle was made by Saxton. Here is Keith Senior. And Senior away from one, but can't get away from the next line of defence. More scores after 40 minutes. Half-time then at Nosey Road. 20 points to 12. Witness not out of that one. And Salford doggedly hanging on to the shirt tails of Wigan. 6-0 into the second half there as well. This is poaching.
Good defence by Hull, and you could see that what they're doing, they're coming on the umbrella defence on an angle, forcing Leeds down that central position.
This is Burrow, goes wide and finds Walker. Difficult man to put down, Walker, but Hull do in the shape of Yeaman and Rayner. It's now with Duneman. There's a high kick. This is another tester for Motu Tony, and he claims it well, and McKenna gets the tackle in on him.
Great take. Just lost it a bit in the lights. Very difficult here. The floodlights are very high above the stand.
Oh, and a problem here. It's Richard Horne for Hull.
Oh, that'll be devastating.
Well, he's hurt the shoulder by the looks of things. Still down in back play, now getting to his feet. Breathing hard and having attention from the physio, but it would be a horrible blow for Hull and John Keir if he is injured in the first match of the campaign. Swain with the kick.
It's a good one too. Dissected winger and the full-back.
Calderwood picks it up for Leeds, and Calderwood tries to turn defence into attack, halted by Paul Cook.
What a take there, and you could see that it was poaching that took him out. Definitely foul play in the background there. Poaching didn't miss.
And this is Danny Ward. Here come Leeds again, and there it is again. And Poaching, yes, he
certainly
took
went
Horne
for it.
out.
Yep.
Oh, it's a mistake.
And
Knock on.
The sad part about it as well is that the official, Carl Kirkpatrick, was right at the side of it, but it's difficult. Oh, that was knocked out, wasn't it?
And I think that was Richard Horne doing the tackling, so no damage done to Richard Horne, and getting the benefit of the doubt with the knock-on. There was a little hand from Richard Horne all over that ball carried by Ali Lauatiti.
Very difficult though for the official, especially when in wet weather like this. But Hull really need to look for something extremely different. Oh, that's play on. He's lost control of it.
Yes, Yeaman did lose control of it. And here is Mathers.
That's a shame. They worked patiently, didn't they, for 10 minutes to get Leeds to make a mistake, and on the first chance they've really had possession inside the Leeds half. They've lost the ball on the first tackle. It's a shame, because Kurt Yeaman's perhaps at this stage the best threat, really. He made more line breaks for his club last year than anybody else in the black and white jersey, and maybe he's the man who can get through this very, very strong Leeds defence.
Did well there to Keith Senior. That wasn't the best pass. Just sucked it in.
Lauatiti to Maguire, infield to Barry McDermott. He's in his testimonial year, is Big Barry. Looking more pumped up than ever before, if the evidence of last week's World Club Challenge is anything to go by, and the 20 minutes or so he had in the first half here. Another questionable pass from Burrow. Walker hangs on.
Well, it's obviously a tactic from Tony Smith, the Leeds coach, to use Burrow. That's about the 5th or even 6th pass that's on the level. What an offload there.
And another one. Oh, they must score here. It's Senior who gets over the line. Wholesale changes just made by Hull, but brilliant hands from the Leeds Rhinos to produce Keith Senior with the try. They really worked that ball excellently across the face of the posts, That was dry weather football on the most atrocious night here in Hull, and Senior gets over for the first of his tries for 2005.
Well, it wasn't a big pass, but watch it from poaching. They took the option there. McKenna did well, and again, absolutely superb. Just waited at the right moment to send Senior through, but watch McKenna's short one. See how they just hesitate? Oh, that is superb, isn't it? Great to see a fullback Mathers coming into the position. But Poaching did everything right. He made sure that took a couple of strides, drew in the defence, and this man Senior, what a great season last year, and Senior himself somewhat disappointed that he didn't produce the goods in the Tri-Nations. But he's a happy man at the moment, is Tony Smith.
And Keith Senior scored a try for Great Britain against New Zealand here in November. Tends to like the KC Stadium. He played in the first ever Super League game, do you remember it, in 1996? In Gay Paris, as Paris Saint-Germain took on the Sheffield Eagles. Keith Senior was a try-scoring sub that night. And Kevin Sinfield has just hooked the conversion attempt wide. First miss from him, 16-2, the Rhinos.
It is a very, very impressive second half performance from Leeds. If coaches look for one thing, they look for consistency. And I suppose after a strong performance in the Carnegie World Club Challenge, the Leeds Rhinos have shown us that they can back it up week in, week out. They've come here now and they've started Super League in a tremendous fashion. Good short kicker from Hull.
Yes,
and
they
again,
had to
they're
try
given
something.
a chance.
They had to try something. And they're trying to wrestle Saxton over the line. That should be a penalty. The referee will play the first knock on, he says. Scrum down, Hull ball. Could have given the penalty against Leeds, because once the tackle's effected, he shouldn't really be dragged towards the touchline.
Great kick-off, wasn't it?
That's the knock on by Senior.
Doesn't have to hit the ground. A lot of people
Did that come off Richard Horn?
Well, there was a hand in there, but I'm just trying to explain to the viewers sometimes that, you know, the ball doesn't have to hit the ground. If you lose control, it goes forward, hit the opposition player, it's classified as a knock-on.
And now Leeds concede a penalty in front of their own sticks.
They've got to go for the tap. 2 points is going to do them no good at all. They've gone for it too.
And this is Horn, Richard Horn, dragged down by McDermott, but they are just 5 metres shy of the Leeds line. Swain, Richard Swain! He's just hauled back by heavyweight Leeds defence. Ball spins into the arms of Horn again. It comes into the middle. This is Blacklock. No way through. Duneman and Walker seeing to that. Cook, Horn, good quick hands. The other Horn, Graham Horn. Oh! And Saxton drops it.
Oh, they have bombed it like you wouldn't believe. Graham Horn, perhaps.
And look at the way that Leeds respond. Their reaction to this tackle is just a joy to see.
Well, Graham Horn, the substitute, really could have gone on the angle a little bit more. He passed the ball, and I'm sure that's what John Keir is complaining about. Not the best pass to Saxton, to be fair to him. But when you're squaring up and running on the angle into the defence, you know, you've got to commit themselves.
Frustration builds for John Keir.
You saw Leeds go into a frenzy of excitement. That's how important preventing your opponent scoring is to them. You know, too often in our game we have people who want to play the attack side but don't really want to know too much in defence. This Leeds outfit seems to have importance in both sides.
Handling errors. Not bad considering the conditions out there, but the missed tackles, that will be a worrying statistic for John Keir.
And on top of that, Eddie, is the fact that Hull, especially in the first half, gave away far too many silly penalties. You know, there's no point in giving an opposition player a facial. Send them to the right place and get their nails done as well. Don't do it out on the field of play.
Sinfield with a kick. Blacklock is underneath it, directs the traffic, tips the ball in field to Motu Tony. Rob Burrow is there, enthusiastically with McKenna. He's brought down. Now then, Gareth Rayner. These two wingers, Rayner and Blacklock, are having to come in field to look for the work because Hull just not getting the ball out wide to them.
And the reason behind that is that the Leeds defence has been very solid. As we were saying, man on man, they move up quickly, very difficult. The one thing that has disappointed me about the Hull outfit is that their support play has not been all that good.
Deep kick, which will find touch over on that far side. Nothing Mathers can do about that. And Richard Horne's kick just skids away on the wet turf here.
It's percentage rugby league football. Get it right down in wet conditions. Hope that you can force the error from this Leeds outfit. And we've seen time and time again that the Leeds defence, they scramble back. It's a sign of a champion side, and that's what they are, and they're full of confidence. And you've got this certain belief, Phil, with each player. You know what they're capable of.
Yeah, they really are in the mood at the moment. They look very impressive. If you cast your mind back a week and think about how the Bulldogs had some success against the Rhinos, it was perhaps with some short passes around the ruck area, and maybe with Richard Horne and players with his speed in the middle of the field. If they can find one or two of the bigger, slower Leeds defenders then in that area, that just may be a way through for them, but they can't get their hands on the ball in a good position often enough to give them a chance.
Has it surprised you, Phil, that the fact that John Keir has not pinpointed the Keith Senior Marcus by area, which was a problem against Canterbury? They shifted in 4 tries over in that corner.
Yeah, maybe they'd look to come to this right-hand side if they can only get their hands on the ball. They were short of the possession in the first half because of the penalties they conceded, and again, the ball control from the Leeds runners has been pretty impressive.
The kick on the last was from Duneman. That's high. Oh, it's well claimed by Gareth Rayner. He's away. And he will try and exploit this Leeds defence, but Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Ali Lauatiti, they were there in numbers to haul him down. Terrific work ethic in this Leeds side this year and throughout the course of 2004 as well.
Well, it's one thing that you can't complain about Hull, because they have worked hard, but they're just lacking that little bit of finesse. You know, they're just driving forward, far too much one-out football when they need to come up with something different. Some
quality off the field, though, as we say. Injuries have hampered them, but here is a man who's got something.
And where was the support?
Cook with a good break. Quick play the ball. Here goes Motu Tony. Stabs it through. Mathers with work to do and just hacks it dead. Drop out coming up underneath the sticks.
Well, I'm not so sure that Motu Tony took the right option there. You see them piling up on the outside. Far better served with a little offload. He's impressed me, though. He's had a fine game as this fella. Doesn't look too happy, John Keir. Looks as though he's just bought around for about 50 people.
The referee holds the clock up because he thinks that Leeds are delaying and dallying. We're right in the last quarter of this match now. Leeds with a 16-2 advantage, and Hull with a big opportunity here. Have to hold on to it for 6 tackles.
Well, a 16-2, they have, as I've been saying, tried something different. They've got to test their arm. They've got a chance. Got to keep at it. Do something different.
Good driving run here. It's Ewan Dowes.
Great run onto the football. That'll lift their spirits.
Richard Swain fires the pass in field. Richard Horne. It then finds its way to Cook. Short ball. Almost through. So close, Motu Tony. Cook again. Jinking run from Richard Horne. Great defence once more from Leeds. Can they hold out for the last tackle here, this set of 6? They want it stabbed into the in-goal area. There it is. The ball has come loose. It's a try. It's a try for Tom Saxton. The referee hasn't given it yet. He wants the video referee to take another look.
Was it a case of, did they get a hand to this? It was a beautiful kick. Wonderful stuff there from the loose forward, Paul Cook. All onside, I feel. So this is okay. Now then, this is the point. Did they get a fingertip to it? They did, but they didn't ground the ball. This is TRY time, and Mr. Saxton, who had been the culprit of giving away silly penalties in the first half, will get the benefit of the doubt. He just wants to make sure that Lauatiti did not ground the ball for dead in goal. He didn't. He tried to pick it up when all he had to do was dive on it. And Mr. Saxton comes up with the first 4-pointer of Super League 10. No doubt about it in my mind. This will be TRY, and listen to this crowd when it pops up onto the big screen.
Hull celebrate their first touchdown of 2005, and John Keir, he's a little calmer now, and he passes the message down. More of the same, please, in the last quarter here.
Well, I said they had the chance their arm, and they certainly did that. It was a beautifully weighted kick from Paul Cook. But in many ways, there were too many. They were making a real meal of it. Too many going for the same football. Confused everybody, but not Saxton. And a glimmer of hope.
It'll be more than that if Paul Cook adds the extras. And he just slides that over the bar. We're in for something of a finish. 88 to 16.
Well, again, like we saw last week against the Canterbury Bulldogs, Leeds had the game well and truly in their grasp, and they just faltered. It was something that the Leeds outfit for several years had done in the past. We all thought that Leeds had put that to bed, that the new coach, Tony Smith, had actually shown them the way to become world beaters.
Well, we'll get to see now, Steve, whether Leeds learnt anything from last week's mistake. Can they hold what Hull are going to throw at them for the next 5 or 10 minutes?
Yes, that's the question. There's been a lot of crunching defence out there from both sides. How much is it taken out of Leeds? Have they got enough in the tank to stem what surely now will be an onslaught again from Hull as they come to try and rescue this match?
It certainly will be, and of course quite a few of the players will be just reminiscing and thinking, oh, don't tell me this is going to happen to us again. It'll be playing tricks in their mind.
Kick over the top, Marcus Pye not interested in that.
Again, clever thinking. Good
Well,
kick.
Richard Horne is trying to take this game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, he knows that position is so vital when the ground's so slippery. Just get them into that corner. We've already seen quite a few errors from the Leeds outfit, and sometimes you have to play the percentage game.
Richard Swain's been working overtime in runs from dummy half. The whole Hull team have. And here is Keith Senior. Must have thought when he got that try in this second half that at 16-2 Leeds were home and hosed, but this is the KC Stadium, the home of Hull, and they will surrender not terribly easy this year.
Isn't it amazing? As soon as you scored a try, you know, it really does lift the spirit. They were a little bit sluggish at times after the restart in the second half, getting out of the blocks in defence.
Oh, there's a penalty as Ryan Bailey tries to get back to his feet, and John Keir just smiles ruefully, and he holds his hand up and apologises to his teammates. Bailey was trying to get on with it.
Well, to be fair, the tackle had been completed, and it's these silly things, silly errors that John Keir has to get out of them. Otherwise, they're not going to win enough games this season, giving away points like this.
Well, Richard Swain, the skipper this year, Player of the Year in 2004. It was his debut year at Hull. He hasn't missed a game yet.
There's one thing, Eddie, to rough up the opposition, okay, get them a little bit excited, but right in front of the referee they pull themselves back to 8 points, and what do? They lose the plot.
40 metres away from the posts, right in centre field, Kevin Sinfield, just to give Leeds a little more breathing space. Big thump on the ball, and he's missed it. It's just gone the wrong side, but Leeds will get the ball back from the dropout. It stays at 16-8 in the champions' favour. We haven't heard from Darren Abram this half. Let's put that to right now. Darren?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that Paul Cook has injected himself into this game. He made a superb break and looked for the support. That's a pity Sean Briscoe wasn't playing, because I think he'd have been on his inside and on the post. But then straight after, he put that lovely kick through for the try. That could be the lifeline that Hull have got there, with him just missing the goal kick, and they've just got to keep the discipline and keep the composure. You know, a bit more slip by hand by young Richard Horne, and they would have been in the try scoring corner. So what they need is just that bit of composure to come through, and I think that if they get the next score, it's all game on. I think they could win it if they get to the next score.
Yes, an interesting phase of the game, thanks Darren. It's with Sinfield and Maguire. Ooh, and they went for the intercept then, Blacklock.
He nearly got it as well.
He nearly did. Mathers just got fingers to it. Maguire to Senior, and that was dangerous area for Senior to run into, but he did so willingly. A little chip over the top here from Sinfield. Oh, and the ball just finds its way to the dead ball line.
That surprised me. I thought that Leeds would have been setting up for yet another 1 point. Well, now they're 8 points in front.
26-12 at St Helens over Widnes. And 7-4. Salford are giving Wigan a real fright of their lives. And Luke Robinson, of course, and David Hodgson back for Salford, providing they were named tonight by Carl Harrison. And Wigan, of course, they might just be reeling a little bit from the news that Andy Farrell is a target for the Rugby Football Union. I wonder if he's there tonight. Wonder if Andy Farrell has turned up at the JJB Stadium. I'm sure he has, to see his teammates battle it out with Salford. Looking for a penalty from Carl Kirkpatrick. It wasn't coming then, Hull. That's a good kick into open space. Blacklock's chasing this. Mathers is there, though, favourite to win the race, and does.
Great tactics. Oh, what a beautiful effort from this guy. But they're getting it right at Hull. Field position, so vital. And you can see now that Leeds are struggling to get back and drive this ball forward. Once they lose momentum, it's not easy. We saw that last week, late in that second half, when Canterbury full control of the possession over a period of maybe 15 minutes.
Well, Hull have got the sniff of something here. It's just like they started the match off. They're really steaming into the tackles. They know another try, as Darren Abrams so rightly said, another try and they could go on and win this match, and they've restricted Leeds to still inside their own half of the field as they kick for Terry. That's a great kick. That's a terrific kick at this stage of the season from stage of the match from Danny Maguire.
Well, it's taking a leaf out of the whole book, haven't they? I mean, it's just, again, a matter of field position, get yourself sort of set up. It really has been like a chess game in the second half. And full credit to this Hull outfit. There's a period, maybe in the first 10 minutes, as you mentioned, when Senior scored that try. Would they fold? Oh no, they don't. Not this outfit.
Here is Lupton then for Hull. Good drive forward, halted by Ryan Bailey.
It's important now that if Hull do make that half break...
Who's lost that?
That was knocked out.
Stolen? No, knock on, he says.
I thought that was knocked out. He's got it right.
Oh, it's a...
Yeah.
Well, that's a penalty, isn't it?
Well, it should have been, but it's obviously ruled that Rob Barrow had come away, or sorry, it's Walker that's come away from it.
Richard Horne for Hull.
What I was trying to make there, Eddie, is that when Hull make the half break, they've got to make sure that the support is there. It hasn't been so far. There hasn't been many clean breaks for the black and whites, but
encouraging though this second half performance from Hull. We're in the opening weekend, of course, of Super League 10 2005. Champions against Hull here tonight. Tomorrow on Sky Sports Live from 6 o'clock Saturday evening. Sky Sports 1, Lee against Huddersfield. The Centurions coach Darren Abrams with us tonight. Tomorrow he will be hoping that he'll be celebrating first victory of Super League 10. The target is about 7 or 8 victories for Lee this year, and they could just survive, but Darren Abrams is looking a little higher than that. This is Chef Walker now for Leeds.
Good kick and chase from Hull, but well spotted by Mark Calderwood. And I just get the impression that Leeds are just puffing a bit. They just can't seem to get their defensive line as strong as it was in that first half. I just get the impression that Leeds are going to hang on.
Well, I wonder whether Leeds, Phil, are just feeling the effects of last Friday in the World Club.
I think they recognise they don't need to score, they just need to control possession and play as much of the remaining 10 minutes in the Hull half. You won't score a try, I don't think, from inside your own half in these conditions. And again, look at the enthusiasm of the chase. There's almost a line there of 8 Leeds defenders, and they're trapping Hull down in that area. The key area, and I think that Tony Smith made some recent replacements, is around that ruck area where the run just took place. That's where Leeds were penetrated against the Bulldogs and earlier in this second half, but they seem to have tightened up in that area. If they can hold Hull in that area, there's no way that the black and white jerseys have got the speed to go around this Leeds defence. It's in those sort of runs that Leeds need to be strong, and they seem to be able to cope with that.
This is Ewan Dowes for Hull. Last tackle here, 10 metres inside the Leeds half. There's the kick again from Richard Horne. Now that will stand in the in-goal area, will it? No, just a fraction too much weight on it.
Now then, do we get a special from Mr. Calderwood?
Well, he's looking for it. Phil Clark just said they won't score from inside their own half tonight.
Well, that means
it's nailed on.
It's a special, isn't it?
It's nailed on for Calderwood or Blacklock. Oh, mistake by Maguire.
Tired bodies, tired mind.
I think they're fatigued, Leeds.
Well, you could see the trailing foot as well from Ryan Bailey didn't help. But he was in a position where Tony Smith would have got the message out and said, look, just tighten it up, take it down, kick into the corner.
Hull have formed the scrum, Leeds plodding to that scrum. Referee calls time off. 6.5 minutes to go. Can Hull score a try here and give themselves the sniff of a victory? As I say, with so many players out, it would be a famous night for the Black and Whites if they do come and pinch this game from Leeds.
Well, you've got to realise, Eddie, as well, and John Keir must get the message out to him that, you know, it's been difficult to break down this Leeds defence. Their try has come from a kick from Cook. They've got to do the same again. They've got to utilise the kick.
It's an encouraging start in many ways for Hull, with so many players out, that they're taking Leeds all the way to the line here. And Richard Swain waits at dummy half. The ball comes infield. McMenemy offloads, and they have the chance here. Yeaman round the corner, over the top. They must score, and Rayner does.
What a try! What a sensational effort from the winger Rayner. How he squeezed in at the corner was nothing short of spectacular.
A big gamble here by the touch judge and referee. They've backed their own vision, and they haven't referred it upstairs to the video referee.
They didn't have to. Good positioning by the flag waver.
Rayner was very tight to the touchline. We'll have another look here.
Great work, wasn't it? The offload was superb. And the run from Swain, they took the gamble, and he's squeezed in, don't worry. Super offload by McMenemy. And they got it all right. Lupton, little pass, and what a finish.
Got it absolutely right.
He knows a way to a line, but what a round-the-man pass from Lupton, and then they missed out the centre. Oh, he's got it easy. That is absolutely sensational. Oh, hold on to your hats.
Now then, if this sails over, but he has missed it. So it's 12-16, but Hull with the sniff of something here now.
You again asked the question, do Leeds have the mental strength here now to cope with this sort of pressure that they're being put under? I don't think for 1 second they've held back really and rested on the lead that they had, but I suppose all of the confidence and enthusiasm is now with the Hull side, and they've got to be strong again, and they need to contain this set of 6. The kickoff's not really deep enough. That's a bad start straight away.
And they will come back. Hull here in the shape of the number 24, Graham Horn, who is out there. Now then, I wonder whether the votes have been counted for man of the match, or will he emerge in the last 4 minutes? Dave Hadfield, are you taking a gamble?
Yes, we'll take a risk on it. They've been counted. There's been a lot of appreciation of Richard Swain's role, our old friend Richard Swain, his role in driving Hull forward right to the end in this game. Most of the mentions have been for Leeds players. Kevin Sinfield's got some, Chris McKenna's got some, but the man that we've gone for in the end, we think he's been superb at full-back, Richard Mathers.
The Leeds full-back wins the first watch of 2005. Will they win the first points of 2005? Man of the match here at this match, corresponding fixture last year. Hull come again, looking for the try that will level it at least, with conversion to come. Oh, mistake! They've got it back, Hull! And they've got it back in the shape of Saxton, and just listen to this crap. Oh! He's made a total mess! Saxton has made a total mess! He played the ball forward.
He cannot believe it, John Keir. Just absolutely lost control. The composure went out the window. I mentioned to Phil Clark midway through this second half about the fact that the Canterbury Bankstown side pinpointed Marcus Bai. Hull did exactly that, and they come up with an absolute error.
Had they really had the advantage though there from the first knock-on by Leeds?
No, they haven't, but the referee gave them a chance to play the ball, and from that play the ball, Tom Saxton made the error.
It's very
so
rare.
He played the advantage.
It's very rare, Phil, that they will go back. I know what you're saying.
And the thing is, with picking up the ball again, he could easily have been penalised.
Yeah.
But the ball went forward, it didn't clear the ruck.
Well, I must say the rub of the green has certainly not gone towards the black and whites tonight. The first try I felt that Bai scored in the first half, there was a deliberate forward pass from McKenna.
Well, they have a minute and a half or thereabouts to rescue it. They had a glorious opportunity, but the kick from Sinfield has got Hull in their own half of the field. But here's a match winner in Rayner, possibly, and a great offload. And that was Danny Hill. And here is Jamie Thackeray. Now a chance of a 40-20 kick, but it sails out on the full. And John Keir and Richard Horn, I think, know that the game is now up for Hull. It was worth a gamble, and he was just a metre too long.
Well, they had to go for it. They had to get possession deep down, and John Keir is fully aware that he has mentioned just over a metre flying around. Leeds will not be rushing towards to form the scrum here, and neither will Maguire to put the ball in.
Maguire gets the possession. Here is Keith Senior. And bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers, and again, strong run from Senior that. Mathers, man of the match, to McKenna. Half a minute to go. Leeds look like they're off to a flying start in defence of the title. Burrow. Graham Horn with the tackle. Ali Lauer-TT. Danny Maguire, Richard Mathers. Chinking run from Mathers. Holds it on to Maguire. Almost gets round. Doesn't quite because of the tackle from Hill. 3 seconds to go, and they knew they were that close. Calderwood finds touch, and Leeds have won a pulsating start to the Super League season. And John Keir knows that just for a little moment of inexperience, when Tom Saxton played the ball and it went forward instead of backwards, Hull could so easily have squeezed out the victory here. A terrific start to the brand new season. Leeds have won it. They are now 14 unbeaten, and that is a new club record in Super League for the Leeds Rhinos. Encouraging start for Hull, a great start for Leeds. They're up and running in 2005. Start to the Super League season in 2005. What a fight the Hull side put up in the closing moments. over 17,000 here. Leeds winning by 16 points to 12 in the end. And the man of the match, of course, was Richie Mathers, the Leeds fullback. We're going to talk to him now, and then we'll hear from Tony Smith.
Richie, you knew it was always going to be tough coming here, but I should think that was even tougher than anticipated, wasn't it?
Yeah, really tough. We knew last week, beginning Monday, that were going to be a tough game, but the conditions were really tough as well, so that didn't help. But credit to all, they come out all guns blazing. They've made some good signings this year, and we're just happy to come away with the 2 points.
I suppose ultimately it was a side that kept best control, wasn't it? And just kept best control.
Yeah, well, you've got to do in them conditions. You can't play the expansive rugby that you can in summer rugby, and I thought we adapted quite well to that. And as long as it wasn't the most fluent performance, but we're just happy to come away with the 2 points.
You're off to a winning start, and you're a man of the match. Well done.
Cheers, Bill.
And let's bring Tony Smith, the Rhinos coach, in. Tony, as I was saying to Richie, it's always tough coming in here, but with these conditions and a whole side really pumped up, it was one heck of a game, wasn't it?
Yeah, they gave it a real shot, Hull, and all credit to them. They made it really tough for us. It was, we knew it was going to be that way, and the conditions. I thought there were some good passages. The try Hull scored was very good, and I thought our try was exceptional in those sort of conditions as well.
But you're off to a winning start, which is the objective.
Oh yeah, I'm really proud of the boys. They worked hard. They were under pressure at the start of that game and held them out, and I think that won the game for them, really.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Unbeaten here at the KC Stadium, Leeds in Super League. Final score at St Helens now, 40 points to 18. They've beaten the Widnes Vikings. That match was delayed a quarter hour because of crowd congestion, so Saints off to a flyer. And Wigan, 15-4 winners against the Salford City Reds. First 3 results of the campaign in then. And victories for the big boys, for Leeds. The Hull are pretty big as well, aren't they? Leeds here, St Helens and Wigan. And Darren Abram is 24 hours away from his big first night. Quite a match here. Great game, and Hull so close. That was a coach killer, wasn't it, by Tommy Saxton?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to feel sorry for John. You practice things on the training paddock, but that's one thing you don't practice is to knock on when you just get the ball 5 metres away from the try line. And I think if they'd have completed that set, they would have scored a try, they would have kicked the goal, and they would have won the game. But it's not to be. John's got to pick that man up now because he's got to play again next week and talk to him positively and kick on from there. But what a good show with all the injuries. And there was some, some weaknesses in the Leeds side which can be highlighted, I think, by other coaches and teams.
Absolutely terrific display really from Hull in many ways. John Keir very frustrated first half. Wonder what he's thinking right now at the end of it all.
John, that's got to be so frustrating because he got better as the game went on. Maybe another 5-10 minutes, you'd probably have had them.
Yeah, I think the belief increased as the game went on, and I was delighted with the performance. And all coaches talk about improvement and performance, and we've set a pretty good standard for the start of the season.
It's a cruel game, isn't it? One fatal moment right at the end there.
Yeah, it is. It's very cruel, but these things happen, and you can't criticise Tommy Saxton because Tommy Saxton had an absolutely magnificent game for us. So, I'm going to take my hats off and pat him on the back, and it's just one of those things. But we're absolutely delighted with how we performed. We didn't get the result, but if we play like that over the season, we'll get more results than we won't.
Thanks, John.
Pleasure, Bill.
Yes, they will. They will win more than they lose if they perform like that. A good job, Phil, that John Keir is follically challenged like our mate, because that little mistake from Saxton at the end, he would lose his hair, wouldn't he?
John's been in the game for long enough to know that those things happen, isn't it? And I think he's got a maturity to deal with victory and defeat. He knows there's 28 games that decide whether or not you get into the playoffs first, and then you've got to cope with that. But I think, again, tonight, great experience for so many of his younger players, and there seems to be a very slow but gradual improvement in their performance. If they continue that way, they'll make the playoffs.
And encouraging for John Keir. I mean, we're dealing a lot with Hull here, but the encouragement for John, Steve-O. So many players out, and yet they come up with a performance like that. And Kearney and Briscoe and Carvel and King to come back in.
Yeah, they'll certainly be around when it comes to the top 6 in the playoffs. That is for sure, if they can continue with that effort. It was very, very good, especially in that second half. To be fair, I honestly thought that Leeds would just perhaps take control of the game, and when this wonderful offload, McKenna there, that was superb. Poaching did all the right things, Senior in for the try, and you just had a feeling at the new stadium, you think to yourself, oh, the Rhinos are going to take control, but watch the kick from Cook. Perfect, isn't it? Okay, too many Leeds players spoiling the broth, and Saxton, he was a hero at that moment. And then Swain, watch the pass from Lupton, quite superb round the corner. Here it comes, and Rayner in at the corner. Absolutely superb. Look how he squeezes. Keeps himself low. There's no way in the world that Mather's going to take over. And this, of course, is the incident. By under a lot of pressure. It's a bit dodgy under the high ball. And look at that. You're only allowed one, Tommy. And that really was a sadness for this whole outfit. But I must say, in this first game that I've seen in Super League, we often say, don't we, that the fitness levels and the skills that were displayed tonight were outstanding. I mean, it was really, really bad conditions out there tonight. And I must give credit to both sides.
Yes, well done to Hull and Leeds. So now the spotlight swings very firmly to the Coliseum. Lee against Huddersfield tomorrow. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, excited. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and it'll be a pleasure to play in front of the cameras tomorrow. Like I say, the whole town's buzzing, the players are buzzing. We've had a shirt launch today with the sponsors, and the feeling's good. We're going to play to our potential, hopefully. Enjoy the occasion, that's the main thing, and let's see what we can come up with.
First match, you're going to be pumped up, there's no question of that. I mean, Huddersfield are in for a battle, very briefly.
I don't know whether it's the first match or it's going to be the last match. We're going to try and be pumped up all year, you know, and that's the way we're going to go into it. We're going to enjoy it, and we're going to stand there and go toe-to-toe and hell for hell, and let's see what we can come up with.
We're all looking forward to it, Darren. Thanks very much for being here this evening. Now then, still to come tonight here on Sky Sports 1 after the break, it's live boxing. Michael Gomez defending his WBU super featherweight title against Javier Osvaldo Alvarez. And over on Sky Sports Extra now, it's live golf from the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Don't forget that Saturday at 6, we see Lee entering Super League for the first time, knocking on the door 4 out of the last 5 years. They finally are in, and they play Huddersfield in their opener at the Coliseum. It's a Sky Sports 1, 6 o'clock start. And we'll see Darren then. He's happy now. Let's hope he's smiling tomorrow. But it'll be a great occasion. Thanks to Steve and Phil, of course, and thanks to you. We're back. Score here. It's Senior who gets over the line.